Hello, welcome to another Go Battle League video. This time I'm going to showcase a team that I use in the Ultra League and that I felt pretty well. First off, when I started the day, I used some garbage in Willpower Cup with like Shadow Metagross, Shadow Shift 3, which I think went even. And then I wanted to try something else in the Ultra League and I came to this team here, which is quite XL. And if you do have these Pokemons, they are definitely worth it. Shadow Drapion is an absolute staple, probably the best generalist in Ultra League, two-shotting about everything that's neutral and sometimes super effective, like on Cresselia and Giratina. Although it doesn't always kill those in two. Either way, Jellicent wasn't as much meta anymore as it used to be, but with less Registeel now, I think it's still really good in Ultra League. I run it with Bubble, Ice Beam, and Shadow Ball, so I'm basically never walled. And the third one I have is Alolan Ninetales with Charm, because there are still those bastards around running Scrafty Giratina in the back or something, and Alolan Ninetales just punishes those lines so well. I've seen people save swap Mandibuzz like there is no Charm anymore, so in that case that really drove me to run Charm again, and it just pairs really well with Jellicent too. For those who played Ultra Remix back in the days, yeah, Jellicent's A9 core was pretty much the hottest core out there until the Giga Jet strike them with the Ferrothorn. Anyway, let's go look at some of these battles, how I played these out. These are around the 2700s, I believe. And I already had 2 4-1s before this, I believe. I lead my Shadow Drapion into a Scrafty. You'd think that Scrafty is pretty solid here. It might even be considered a hard counter to Shadow Drapion, but it is not. It's going... I got a little bit of a nasty strategy here. Just win the Zero Shields and charm it down. I know there's a Nidoqueen in the back with Scrafty. There's always a Nidoqueen in the back with Scrafty. Maybe even a Brobat. But then I have Jellicent to eat those. So yeah, I'm gonna let this go. I will survive this Power Punch. And then the next Sludge Bomb will take them out. I don't win the 1s or 2s here. And my opponent's trying to be clever, trying to catch on a Nidoqueen, but I was waiting half a second to see if they would catch or not, and it did try that. So now I have my Jellicent on this Nidoqueen. They almost caught my double resisted Sludge Bomb there, which would be very painful. Normal Nidoqueen, I don't think it's a threat to anything that's not a Charmer. Because it just doesn't hit as hard as Shadow Nidoqueen does. It just doesn't add up enough. But the annoying thing about normal Nidoqueen is that it's bulkier, so it survived these moves. I'm actually considering shielding this. They do win the Zero Shields, which is annoying. And then they end up fanging. Yeah, they would have gotten to that Earth Power there, so... That's unfortunate, but it is what it is. I will survive this Poison Fang here, that's fine. That Scrafty might or might barely not be in Ice Beam range, and my opponent is very clever, because with double Fanging here, they can actually Mudshot me down. But I don't want to allow that. They will not swap in their Scrafty into this Charmalone and Ninetales, so I feel free to swap out there and maybe get to another move later. Mind you, I also still have a Sludge Bomb or Crunch stored on my Drapion. This is a pretty even matchup. You can take 2 Hydros barely on Alolan Ninetales here, in contrary to Great League, but an Earthquake and a Hydra I will not survive. Now I can shield this, but they might barely get to another one, and they are one of a foul play off on their Scrafty as well. Now that my debuff has been cleared, my Jellicent won't get Mudshot down anymore, so I feel confident bringing it back in here, and I'll farm up a little bit. And they tried to catch, actually. I tried to farm them down. I guess they noticed. So I'll throw my Ice Beam into this Scrafty. It barely doesn't take it out, and it might even get to a move. I will actually swap here, because my only win con here is to catch or call a Power Punch, and I actually do. They could have just foul play, but they went for the Power Punch. I survived that last move, and now I get a Crunch off. So they have to shield this, and the Ice Beam or a Shadow Ball from my Jellicent will take it out. I even accidentally overtap here, but it doesn't get punished, fortunately. So yeah, that barely wins me that battle. I wouldn't say that's a very deserved one, but also it was a good one. Anyway, Drapion into Origin Giratina. I love this Pokemon, but it's not gonna do well against Drapion. And they stay in because either they're weak to this, or they're gonna try to catch a move, which is extremely predictable. So I will not let that happen. This Crunch already does so much damage, and they swap in their Talonflame. And Jellicent is a beautiful answer to Talonflame. This would even be better with Bubble Beam, because after they throw their Brave Bird, you can Bubble Beam and farm down easy. But they throw their Brave Bird at 5 Incinerate, so in this case, I wouldn't be able to. But now I can throw the Shadow Ball and take them out, however. So I'll farm up as much as I can here. They are at the Brave Bird now, and that Shadow Ball will take them out after the debuff. Now, if the Giratina comes in, that's great for the Giratina, but it has to throw a move, because otherwise I would get to another Shadow Ball that would take them out. They do have that Ominous Wind, so they can't even hit my Drapion, and since the timer is not up, I will charm this thing down before it even gets to a move. And in the back is an Escavalier. You would think that this is a Core Breaker. You would think this is a Core Breaker. If you have Shadow Drapion on the safe switch and you have like 1 or 2 Poise Sticks advantage against Ascav, you are actually pretty good there. Another good thing about Ascav is, despite its really amazing coverage, is that it's so freaking fragile. I'm almost gonna be able to charm this down despite charms being completely resisted. I'm not going to say charm is not broken, but also Escavalier is just weak. It's the same in Great League. Escavalier just isn't the thing to counter charmers that well. The drone will take me out. Well, I actually undercharged because they wanted to get another one to hit my Drapion, but I just swap in Drapion and poison this thing down. Next battle. We lead Shadow Drapion into Nidoqueen. So this time we have the core from the opposite side, right? We had Scrafty before Nidoqueen in the back. This time it's definitely gonna be Scrafty in the back. And I'm so hungry. My Alolan Ninetales is so hungry for that Scrafty. So whatever they swap in now, I will not fall for that bait out. The Crunch does so much damage here. On normal Nidoqueen, you need the debuff to kill him too. But Shadow, you just take this out in 2. They bait me, which is terrible, and they try to catch on their Greedent. But again, I don't want to bring my Alolan Ninetales in here. If I bring my Alolan Ninetales in this Pokemon, I am left with a Shadow Drapion and a Jellicent against a Scrafty with 1 shield up. So I can't do that. I'm actually kind of trapped here. And especially now that I throw my energy here, it becomes even worse. However, I do catch his Body Slam, so I guess I have that going for me, which is nice. But the thing is, I have no energy on Drapion. They have that Nidoqueen with energy. It's very close to an Earth Power. Their Scrafty's not gonna do shit though. So let's take a look here. Crunch comes in. It's super effective, but it's non-stab from this Squirrel. And even when I'm debuffed, Jellicent can still take this. However, this will bring me into Poison Fang range, which I wouldn't mind if they throw their energy like that. That's just fine with me, to be honest. And they actually do come in with Nidoqueen to throw that energy, which gives me a little bit of momentum. But again, there's still a shield up, so at least I'm gonna be 1 Pokemon up, because their Scrafty is useless. Honestly, maybe my play was to farm up more here, because now my Drapion still has no energy for that Nidoqueen. I'm still gonna die to 1 Earth Power, and at this point I'm doubting whether I should let them hit me way more, because in that case their Nidoqueen won't get as much farm. But I wanted to see to get the 2 Weather Balls, because I'm gonna need 3 moves in the end anyway. So yeah, I need 3 moves. I need either 2 Crunches and a Weather Ball, or 2 Weather Balls and a Crunch. And it looks like I'm not going to make it, and that's game over. My only play is maybe if they go straight Poison Fang, but I think even if they go straight Poison Fang, they probably win. But my opponent is not a fool, so he goes straight Earth Power there, and that will take me out. Good game. I got a little bit trapped in my plays there, because I wanted my A9 so badly on that Scrafty, and knowing that Nidoqueen with a shield up is so dangerous, I was just outplayed at that point. I had nothing for the Greedent. This is a great lead. If you get the defense drop, then it doesn't matter if their IVs are good, you take down 2 Crunches. A good IV Cresselia, however, will barely survive 2 Crunches if you don't get the debuff. And you can get debuffed as well, of course. I'm careful with throw my move here. I don't want to throw down like a Scrafty or something, because that would be a big waste. In comes the first Crunch. As you can see, they're not that great IV, so that would take him out. And in comes Snorlax, which is not a great answer to Drapion either, because licks are resisted. Body slams will add up though, and so do these crunches. They're gonna do about 40% to a bulky Pokemon like Snorlax. As you can see, Drapion is freaking busted. 2 crunches and it's in the red. Feeling cute, gonna catch this body slam here because I want to preserve my Drapion. With the Cresselia sometimes comes stuff like a Registeel or something else that's kind of tanky and boring to deal with, but it's a Talonflame, which I find rather exciting. However, I do have a good answer to this in the back, so this is a little bit of an RPS matchup. Honestly, if you have Power Snow here, Ninetales is not even that bad here, and this is somewhat of a good throw by my opponent. If they did another Incinerate, I would have gotten that Weather Ball off in their Incinerate, and they would have to eat that. So I guess they didn't want to do that, but they make a misplay here, throwing the Flame Charge immediately, thinking that I'd come back with my Drapion. What? I was not planning on that, and they top left. Yeah, always watch what comes in before you throw your move, especially when you're not low HP. There's no reason. Now this is somewhat of a core breaker. My Jellicent is not the worst here because I have Bubble Ice Beam and their Poison Jabs are resisted. Dark Pulse hits really hard though, so I'm kind of glad to see it here. If I get the Alolan Mug low, my Charm Alolan Ninetales doesn't struggle with it too much either because my Charms are neutral and they usually run Acid Spray, so they don't even have a charge move that hits pretty hard. Yeah, I'm gonna go for this crunch here, but Alolan Mug does win this matchup in the 0 shields because their jabs add up way more, and this Dark Pulse barely won't take me out, but the jabs after will, and I don't want them to risk shielding and then have too much HP for my backline. So I'm gonna shield that, throw this crunch, I will outpace to the next one. And now I get the debuff. I don't need it anymore now. Anyway, crunch coming through, takes out Alolan Mug. I have switched now with a shield down, and they show their Machamp. I was expecting like a Trevenant in the back, so I guess I stay in. I'm not even sure what I expected here, to be honest. It's also paired with Empoleon or Giratina sometimes, so just gonna bring in my Alolan Ninetales. They will swap out of that anyway, and they bring out that Giratina. My opponent playing ABB against Charm without drawing out the Charmer. Well, I guess they were kind of trapped because you can't bring in the Giratina when I have a Drapion up front. So yeah, kind of tough position for them. They do have 2 shields there though, but they decide not to use it. So now this Machamp is up against the whole world, and I have a shield still. A payback from a normal Machamp will definitely not hurt my Jellicent that much. It won't even put me into the red, to be honest. I think that's about 65%. Either way, they will get to another cross shop. That's fine. Trainer, you get to see my 3rd Pokemon, and that's it basically. Kind of I think of a budget team by my opponent. I think I like the idea ABB against Charm or Fairy like that, but it just didn't work out the way he wanted it, I guess. I mean, Drapion or any Poison Dark leads are not the most common, I guess. Anyway, I know it's quite the Excel team, but I really liked it and I really want to feature it. Hope you liked the video, and see you in the next one.